Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos and Abuja. A reminder of our top stories. The President raises hope that Boko Haram will be defeated, seeks $1 billion funding for the fight against terror. Adamawa acting governor takes full charge, announces immediate release of 2-month salaries of civil servants. House of Representatives summons INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega on the status report of permanent voters' cards. And Dutch court indicts Netherlands over killing of 300 Bosnians at Srebrenica. Well, all our top stories can be found on our website, ChannelsTV.com, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb. Do visit m.channelstv.com if you want to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. And please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Now, here are some of the pictures sent in by Eyewitness reporters. We begin in Lagos, showing the state of Creek Road, Apapa. This Eyewitness reporter is calling for the attention of the state or federal government to make urgent repairs in order to avoid accidents. And in Owerri, the Imo State capital, is this flooded road at Amakohia Olu. Our Eyewitness reporter says the flood is caused by a poorly designed roundabout under construction. He says the state government should look into the situation and end the hardship of residents living in that area. And finally, from Abuja is this drainage which has been turned into a refuse dump behind Utako Market, Abuja. Our Eyewitness reporter is urging the Abuja Environmental and Protection Agency to do its work diligently. Well, thank you for your reports, and do keep them coming. All right, well, Gloria Umeozioke is in our Abuja studios. She's waiting to take over. Hi, Gloria.
Thank you, Bimbo, and welcome to the nation's capital. The Senate has confirmed the co-marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Mr. Osita Chiduka, and a lecturer at the University of Abuja, Dr. Abubakar Suleiman, as ministers. President Goodluck Jonathan had forwarded the names of the 2 nominees last week to the Senate for confirmation. But federal lawmakers grilled the 2 nominees on aviation, education, and security issues.
Ministerial screenings have dominated legislative proceedings in the Senate for the past 2 weeks. Last week, the Senate screened and confirmed former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau and 3 others. On Wednesday, the Senate also screened Federal Road Safety boss Osita Chiduka and a lecturer at the University of Abuja, Dr. Abubakar Suleiman. The FRSC boss was grilled first. Lawmakers took him up on the state of road and aviation infrastructure in the country.
If you look at our roads, in between the year 1999 and 2010, our total budget for the industry was 720 billion. The state of Israel budgets about $5 billion annually for roads in that small enclave called Israel. So one of the things that we should do as a nation is to make it possible for private capital to come into Nigeria in a manner that it is secured and in a manner that will make it possible for Nigerians to get the benefits of a world-class infrastructure, but at a cost.
Then came the turn of Dr. Abubakar Suleiman. Expectedly, lawmakers sought his views on the problem of incessant strikes by university lecturers.
The incessant strike in the universities, in the tertiary institutions, it's not something that could be eradicated in its entirety, because it has to do with contestation for the limited resources. We have institutions in places, we have structures in places. Those structures, in most cases, are not being, updated, and the rate at which people come in, the intake into the universities and tertiary institutions keep on increasing. So it's a case of population explosions without a corresponding increase in facilities. And when that happens, it's not just for lecturers to talk about their welfares, it's not just for lecturers to talk about their dues, not just for them to talk about their salaries. They have to talk about the condition of the student in terms of facilities in the hostels, in terms of facilities in the classroom, in terms of facilities in the laboratory. So long as we have these scarce resources, there will be that contestation.
Done with the screening, the Senate confirmed Mr. Osita Chidoka and Dr. Abubakar Suleiman as ministers. From the National Assembly, Linda Kibe, Channels Television News.
The newly sworn-in acting governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, appears set to tackle the challenges of governance in his state. In his maiden speech, the acting governor urged the people to join hands with him to return the state to the path of peace. He also promised to prioritize workers' welfare by paying outstanding salaries of civil servants.
The acting governor, I urge you to remain calm, peaceful, prayerful, as we take on the task of restoring sanity to our dear state. Adamawa State is still under the state of emergency. I refrain from doing anything that will disrupt the peaceful atmosphere prevailing in the state. While thanking our security agencies for striving very well to maintain law and order and to protect lives and property, we urge them to be alert to any threat to peace in our state. We must all bear in mind that internal vigilance is the price of peace. Be rest assured that your utmost desire shall continue to guide our silent decision in the effort to correct the past mistakes. First and foremost, we shall pay the outstanding 2-month salaries.
In the meantime, indigenes of Adamawa State have been reacting to the removal of the former governor Murtala Nyako. For them, the impeachment of the governor is divine, and they describe it as a fitting end to an era of inactivity in the state. They, however, advised the acting governor, Amadu Fintiri, and his team to rekindle the hope of the people of the state in the government by doing the right things.
The change of the government is good for us. So at least, because anybody that comes now, this thing that happened, we will show him that he will do a justice. Because once something has happened in the state, so when a new government have come, it's a lesson to him.
Yes, it's a welcome idea. In fact, both the Christians and Muslims, in fact, we went into prayer and fasting for this thing to happen. And we believe there is a God, and our God has answered our prayer. Because we've been marginalized in this state by just a man and his family, and it was so terrible. Everybody has lost focus in the state, but we thank God that what has happened is a divine intervention.
Now, commuters and motorists had a hectic time using the roads in Kefi, Nasarawa State earlier today as thousands of residents staged a protest against the plan by the state's lawmakers to impeach Governor Tanko Almakura. The protesters marched from Kefi to the Maraba axis, a boundary settlement near the Federal Capital Territory. The protesters decried what they call frequent impeachment threats on the governor, which they claim are distracting to the state chief executive. Residents of Maraba, a community that borders the Federal Capital Territory with Nasarawa State, are familiar with traffic gridlocks like this. But this time, it's not the traffic they're used to. Traffic was held up by these protesters who are asking the State House of Assembly to stop their planned impeachment of the state governor, Alhaji Tanko Almakura.
We don't want any person challenge Almakura. So as the NPC member for this Nasarawa state, we don't want any person challenge this man. So we don't want that.
We voted for him in 2011. He promised, then he's doing his work gradually. We even like the way he's doing his work. So we are advising them they should not follow any other evil people that will make the state to be astray.
In another part of the state, a set of protesters took over the roads in Akwanga and made a final stop in Lafia, the state capital. Apparently gripped by developments in Adamawa State, the protesters said the plot to remove the state governor is bad politics.
We come all out this morning to show solidarity to His Excellency Umaru Tanko Almakura, the good governor of the people of Nasarawa State, the governor that the people of Nasarawa State gave mandate to serve them, and is serving them well. That is why we, the defenders of Nasarawa prosperity, we are out today to tell the world that what is the impunity that is happening in Nasarawa State is not acceptable.
Despite the opposition to the move by the state lawmakers, the protesters did not take their grievances to the premises of the House of Assembly. Nevertheless, the lawmakers are waiting to serve the notice of impeachment on the governor before making any comment on the demands of the protesters.
The Vice President says the People's Democratic Party has perfected its strategies to ensure it wins the forthcoming governorship election in Osun State. The Vice President Namadi Sambo was speaking after a meeting of the party's committee set up for the governorship campaign in Osun State. He adds that the people of Osun State now have a chance to make their choice.
The meeting has gone very well. We have discussed our strategies, which are always for peace, for free and fair election. We have organized ourselves. We have put PDP in the right path. PDP is a party that respects elders, respects the traditional rulers, respects the youth, the women, and everybody. We are a peaceful party and we are looking forward to have a peaceful election in Osun State. And I want to assure you that the mandate that was taken through the back door will come back to PDP. As it was said after the election in Ekiti, the people of Osun State will now have the chance to choose for themselves where they belong, and we know that they belong to PDP.
Well, Britain's leading fraud prosecutor is evaluating material alleging UK aid might have been channeled to companies linked to the jailed former governor of Delta State, Mr. James Ibori. The Solicitor General, Mr. Oliver Hild, said in a written response to a parliamentary question that the Serious Fraud Office is examining whether there is any indication of an offence falling within the criminal jurisdiction of England and Wales, as opposed to criminal jurisdictions overseas. Mr. Ibori, who governed Delta State from 1999 to 2007, was jailed for 13 years in Britain in 2012 after pleading guilty to 10 counts of money laundering and fraud in one of the biggest embezzlement cases seen in Britain. When the news at 10 returns, our community report takes a look at the bold step taken by a landlord in Jos to save hundreds of lives. That's in business news. To join us again.